Now on
Got Consent
Podcast. Sorry about that, Mark.
That's alright.
Yeah, I'm Ross Gibbons, and
I'm Mark Reinhardt, of course.
Yeah. Chris is being his usual email-known self, and can't be with us tonight. Tests being hard, and that's kind of like. And Adam got some overtime, so money before anything else, I guess.
Well, of course.
Well, it is true. He actually has a family and 2 young children, so I understand this. We all understand this, and this is why we more or less said, "Yeah, sure, go take care of your family."
Yeah.
Got Consent Podcast is a podcast where we bring you the news of the day that you may not have heard,
and we comment on it.
Yep. We won't point out the fact that the 2 of us here, anyways, are very anti-government, but unfortunately have not yet been able to cut our ties to it. But hopefully in our lifetimes.
Hopefully within our lifetimes.
Yeah.
And if I may start off, my man, I have on theclimategate.tv for January 29th of this year. It's not just the IPCC month. Now, at the top of the Pacura Gate and Glacier Gate, the original ClimateGate scandal has finally exploded underneath climatologists at the University of East Anglia's Climate Research Unit. In a shocking rebuke of the key scientists behind the IPCC peer-reviewed assignment of the dangers of man-made climate change, the UK Information Commissioner ruled yesterday that the group of scientists known as the Hockey Team had broken freedom of information laws by conspiring to ignore legitimate requests for information and even conspiring to delete key emails and correspondence so they could never be assessed.
Well, apparently they just couldn't buy out the judge well enough at this time.
True, and if just in my opinion, if there's between the UK and the US in the current dictatorial fashion, UK's dealt with dictatorship longer than we have.
Well, it's really funny you mention that because I just recently heard that and read from an article that we actually are now below Canada in economic freedom. And for all the Canadians who may one day listen to this, it's not a slight against you; it's a slight against us.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, this way, Canada was pretty high on the list, anyways. But now they sit at 6, and we are somewhere between 7 and 15.
Exactly, and a perfect example of the guys you should be proud of is your main man Rex Murphy. Rex Murphy was actually the only one on CBC who broke ClimateGate in the Canadian television sector.
Interesting.
In fact, ClimateGate, when he puts it on, in fact, here is the sound clip.
When Jon Stewart, the bantam rooster of conventional wisdom, makes jokes about it, ClimateGate has reached critical mass. Said Stewart, poor Al Gore, global warming completely debunked. The very internet he invented. Stewart was half joking, but ClimateGate is no joke at all. The massive emails from the Climate Research Unit of East Anglia University, let loose by a hacker or a whistleblower, pulls back the curtain on a scene of pettiness, turf protection, manipulation, defiance of freedom of information, lost or destroyed data, and attempts to blacklist critics and skeptics of the global warming cause. Now, the CRU is not the only climate science advisory body, but it is one of the most influential and feeds directly into the UN panel on climate change. So let's hear no more talk of the science is settled when it turns out some of the principal scientists behave as if they...
All right. Well, I was hoping to finish the sentence, but don't worry, we'll put it back on. I will point out that neither Mark or I, or any of our people on our team, are actually trained scientists. And the globe may very well be warming by natural or man-made causes we do not know. What we focus mostly on is how government, in our case of the 2 of us here today, focus on how government actually acts. Mm-hmm. And let's put it this way. Every indication seems to show that government is acting in such a way as if that they don't believe in global warming, but they see it as a good tool to control the masses.
Agreed, my man, agreed.
I mean, let's put it this way, right? That recent, what was it, the meeting at the Copenhagen?
Mm-hmm.
Copenhagen.
Yeah.
had people from all around the world flying in on their own private jets. Now, this is paraphrasing from maybe a week or two's or a month or something like that. It's worth the backtrack here. Where they they flew in and didn't have enough room on a tarmac at the local airport, so they flew off again. The planes, after landing, dropping off the officials, flew off again to land and be stored in places like Sweden and Norway. Once again, that's a couple weeks or...
Even Al Gore said that cap and trade, the stuff that they're proposing on, would lead to global governance.
And he seemed to be okay with that. In fact, the truth of the matter is, there's a lot of people behind this whole these conspiracy theories of one world government kind of issue. And, it's not much conspiracy theory if it's kind of out in the open.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just wait. Half the population seems to be okay with it, and half the population seems to either be against it or not so happy if it's not American-led.
Yeah. And my issue is with that is, frankly, here's an interesting factoid that nobody seems to realize, is that most of your medications come from oil, petroleum-based.
Well, it's really interesting you mention that because in many cases, those medications, pharmaceutical medications, where there's a case where there's certain diseases where pharmaceuticals probably are the best cure for all, right?
Yeah.
But we have things like medical marijuana, which is growing around the States today, right?
Yeah.
Where they worry about keeping it illegal because of the drug, how much money the officers and stuff get into it, right? But they don't like it being one of the main reasons why it's still illegal in the United States, marijuana in general, is simply because it actually does gives a fairly good run for the money of any kind of man-made drug. We're talking you can use it for headaches, for nausea, for cancer, and it'll help you through chemo or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And so much so that they actually went out and made a drug based on marijuana.
Yeah.
That was legal because it came from the pharmaceuticals. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but I think it was just a THC part of it or something like that.
Yeah.
It just overlooks other things here.
So my point that I wanted to make, Ross, is people want to get rid of the oil situation.
Yeah.
And
apparently I didn't turn my phone off. But go ahead.
They wanted to get rid of the oil situation, and they don't understand that without the petroleum stuff, they're going to need to find a new way for medical advancements or medications, because most of the medications are based on a petroleum-based chemical bond.
Oh boy.
And in other news...
Yeah, let's go just as quickly as possible at this point. I just got something to tell me I need to take care of this stuff. Some questionings I need to take care of. I got a lot of little short blurbs here. If you have anything big you want to go LC big.
Okay. The one more thing that I would put on is 5-day Davos Forum ends on a note of humility.
Okay.
This is from my friend Emmy's home country, the Jakarta Post.
Mm-hmm.
World's foremost gathering of business. Let's just say that they're trying to find a right balance between job growth and regulation. and my buddy Ross here is of the Austrian economic thought, kind of like Peter Schiff, the granddaddy of truth movement economist.
I don't know which one is probably better. I like to think I'm better though.
Anyway, they realize we're going to have a fragile recovery and we need to stabilize. What do you think the Financial Stabilization Forum of the G20 is? They don't care about fixing the problem. They just want to stabilize it because they have the understanding, in my opinion, that if they let it collapse, there will be chaos and anarchy in the streets. That's at least what their thought process is.